So, so how would you describe yourself? I heard your description of Eamon Hennessy, the wonderful stream of adjectives about him. So what would be the stream of adjectives about Utah?
Not like Eamon's, you know. I guess I can't be a vegetarian. I'm not a Catholic. He was a tax diffuser, yeah, but I can't. He was a CO in 2 world wars. Well, bag that, you know. I joined.
Uh-oh. Strike it out.
Right. I'm just a folk singer.
Yeah.
You know, but I have a real thorough understanding of what that means. Growing up, really growing up, means at some point in your life discovering what you authentically inherit. Really, culturally, what you culturally inherit. But finally acknowledging that, finally recognizing that, and that's what you try to put in the world. Mm-hmm. See, and that's what I do now. Is I find that my inheritance is a wealth of song and story and poem from my elders, especially the radical elders, who never had that wide a voice in their lives. Mm-hmm. They give me those treasures. They're gone. I'm here. So that's what I put in the world. Mm-hmm. And that's it. There isn't any other life for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I've often thought for myself that folk music is not an acoustic guitar necessarily. That's not where the heart of it is. It's an attitude. It's an awareness of one's heritage, like you say, and a community. It's sub-corporate community-based music, which, you know, like this album, that we did, people, you know, the people who think of folk music as a piece of wood, ignoring all the other political and economic implications, I guess, are probably going to have some problems with it.
They are. I always loved what Pete Seeger said about folk music when we would argue politics during the old sing-out days when Irwin Silver was running it and he was a Maoist. Everybody fought all the time. And Pete was always there saying, let the songs do their work. Let the songs do their work. Because he was convinced that every folk song is a song of social protest if you perceive it in its context. Mm-hmm. Black blues is a catalog of abuses, you know. Mm-hmm. Old ballads like Pretty Sorrow is about a guy who's in love with a woman who's going to marry a merchant, and not him because he can't write. You know, if I could write, I'd write you a broad letter, you know, and he can't do it. Mm-hmm. When you see those in their social context, all these songs become transformational in those terms of social protest. So he said, let's all shut up and let the songs do their work. And you've seen Pete do that again and again and again. Yeah. And it does come out in the music. It does come out in the music.
Yeah, and in my experience, I've, people my age find folk music very uncool. You know, it's just terribly, terribly uncool. But to me, I use the word folk music in reference to punk music and to rap music, and those are all, you know, they're like so many indigenous musical forms that, you know, that come out of sort of my world and the country that exists around me growing up, that I think have an impetus in you know, non-corporate kind of giving voice to different communities and you know, the youth of those communities and the struggle against authority and against that tracking that you were talking about, and against, you know, coming up against some kind of societal brick wall that's been built there, you know, before, you know, for us to run into at some point in our lives. Like, you either conform to a kind of a way of life that you just can't stand, or you become, you know, you try and give voice to various objections to it.
So you figure out a way around
music,
it,
is, you know, there's so many different kinds of folks, and their music is all, you know.
That's why my tramping instincts have always come in handy. When I was tramping on the trains, I learned to live in the cracks. I learned to find out where the cracks were and then how to live in them. And no matter how monolithic the wall gets, you find a crack.
Yeah.